Hello and welcome to another episode of In the News. I'm your host, Freddie Shaban, and this is for March 29th, 2021. Today, I have a really good story for you. I've been following it for a while, for about a year now. This is about the sex trafficking queen or socialite, Ghislaine Maxwell. She is awaiting trial, as we all know, and she used to be the partner of Jeffrey Epstein, who supposedly hung himself last year while waiting trial in federal detention. So here we go. Ghislaine Noel Marion Maxwell is a British socialite known for her association with financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. She worked for her father, the publishing tycoon Robert Maxwell, until his death in 1991, when she moved to the United States and became a close associate of Epstein. This is strictly from Wikipedia. She was born on December 25th, 1961, which makes her 59 years of age, almost 60 this year. And her parents are Robert Maxwell, Elizabeth Maxwell, and she is married to Scott Bergerson in 2016. Let me take you back to her arrest back in July of 2020. And this article is from the New York Times, dated July 2nd, 2020. Ghislaine Maxwell, associate of Jeffrey Epstein, is arrested. Ms. Maxwell was accused of helping Mr. Epstein recruit, groom, and then sexually abuse girls, one as young as 14 years of age. You can see her picture here with Jeffrey Epstein. The girl was 14 years old when she met the financier Jeffrey Epstein and his companion, Ghislaine Maxwell, in the 1990s. They tried to become her friend, taking her shopping and to the movies. Miss Maxwell asked about her family and school. Then Miss Maxwell began undressing in front of the girl and recruiting her to participate in sexualized massages of Mr. Epstein, prosecutors said. The pattern continued for years as Miss Maxwell fed Mr. Epstein dark desires and participated in some of the abuse herself, according to a newly unsealed indictment. Miss Maxwell, the daughter of a publishing magnate and once a fixture on New York's social scene, was arrested on Thursday in New Hampshire, where the authorities said she had been hiding. She was charged with luring multiple underage girls into Mr. Epstein's orbit. And this goes on and on about her arrest and the federal indictment, which they were charged with sexually exploiting and abusing dozens of girls and women at his mansion in Manhattan and his estate in Palm Beach, Florida, and other locations. So this is talking about Mr. Epstein. And now, most recently, Miss Maxwell was living on a 156-acre property in Bradford, New Hampshire, where she was arrested, prosecutors said. The property was acquired in an all-cash purchase in December, and prosecutors said the buyer's identity had been shielded by a limited liability corporation. The authorities had been tracking Miss Maxwell's movements and had recently learned about her relocation to New Hampshire home, an FBI official said. The indictment charged Ms. Maxwell with 6 counts, including transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. She also faces perjury charges for statements she made during a deposition in 2016 about her role in Mr. Epstein's alleged sex trafficking operation. Maxwell enticed minor girls, got them to trust her, then delivered them into the trap that she and Epstein had set for them. Audrey Strauss, the acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, said at a news conference on Thursday. Lawrence A. Vogelman, a lawyer for Ms. Maxwell, declined to comment. She had previously denied wrongdoings in civil lawsuits. The indictment lists 3 minor victims who prosecutors say were recruited by Ms. Maxwell from 1994 to 1997 without identifying them by name. Federal laws allow the government to prosecute sex offenses committed against minors at any point in the victim's lifetime. So there's no statute of limitation. Ms. Maxwell appeared Thursday afternoon in federal court in New Hampshire, where a magistrate judge ordered her detained and sent to New York, pending further proceedings there. She posed an extreme high risk, and by the way, this is the third time she tried this month in March of 2021 to gain a bail, and they don't want to let her go because she's a citizen of France, where she was born, and she's also a citizen of England, where she's been living, and she's a U.S. citizen. So she was trying, as of late, to give up her U.S. citizenship. Her French and English citizenship, so she could be held here on bail, and this way she's not a flight risk, because in the federal system, if you're a flight risk or if you have criminal associations, they will not give you bail. Ms. Maxwell was born in France and grew up in a mansion in Buckinghamshire, England, where she socialized with aristocrats and royals. She attended Oxford and moved to New York City in 1991, around the time that her father, the British publishing magnate Robert Maxwell, bought the Daily News. Her father died that year after tumbling off a boat in the midst of mountain debt. Miss Maxwell then moved into a modest apartment on the Upper East Side. After Miss Maxwell and Mr. Epstein started dating, she began spending time at his estate in Florida, entertaining prominent visitors from around the world. In 2000, Miss Maxwell moved into a townhouse less than 10 blocks from Mr. Epstein's mansion that was purchased by an anonymous LLC represented by Mr. Epstein's longtime lawyer. In a Vanity Fair article a few years later, Mr. Epstein described Miss Maxwell as his best friend. Miss Maxwell helped him manage Mr. Epstein's properties and introduced him to the celebrities and business executives who would form his social circle. Question about the nature of their close relationship, however, emerged over the years. Mr. Epstein pleaded guilty in 2008 in Florida to state charge of soliciting prostitution, and a 2009 lawsuit against Mr. Epstein claimed that he and Mrs. Maxwell sexually abused one woman, Virginia Guffer, when she was 16. Ms. Maxwell has denied the claims. In the last 8 months, Maxwell, 59, has been imprisoned at a federal detention center in Brooklyn, twice denied bail as a flight risk while she awaits a trial scheduled to begin in July on charges of perjury and conspiracy to entice 3 minors in the 1990s to have sex with Epstein, who committed suicide in jail in 2019. Maxwell's third attempt to persuade a judge to release her before her trial has set in motion in the past few days an effort by her family to reshape her image, aided by a publicist and a family attorney. Well, here you go, guys. I mean, the reason I'm covering this story is because I think there's a lot more to be said or to find out about behind the scenes, because it seems like Epstein really had a lot of powerful people, like Clinton allegedly was on the flight log 25 times to that private island, and a lot of other celebrities. Okay, you can Google this yourself and see how many celebrities been on that island, but it's like mind-boggling. And it's been going on for years. And Epstein did time, and this lady here, Miss Maxwell, she never done time, right? So after Epstein passed away, supposedly that they needed somebody to pin it on because of all these victims, right? And of course, Epstein's estate being sued by all the victims and all this stuff, so they're going to clear him out. Supposedly he's worth, at his death, about $600+ million. And there's no place that they show where the money's coming from. Like, she bought this place in New Hampshire with cash through an LLC without showing her name, right, as a third entity, because she's hiding all that money, right? So if you want to talk about, and this is why I called her the queen of sex trafficking, right? I really think that these guys were the top sex traffickers as far as like a high end, with presidents and celebrities from all sorts, right? I mean, you name it. I mean, I'm not even going to name the names, but you can Google it yourself. So I'm more interested about what's going to happen to this lady now that Epstein is gone, and they're going to have to pin it on somebody. And I can guarantee you that Epstein was still alive, they probably would have never touched this lady, because they usually go after the guys. Trust me, I know. I'm not a sex trafficker, never sex trafficked. Everybody was overage. There's a huge difference. I never made anybody do anything they don't want to do. I never manipulated them. They came to me. They knew exactly what's going on. There was full disclosure there. So I'm totally against this. I'm totally against any type of manipulation, any type of forced sex, any type of NLP'd sex, which is where you just totally brainwash the person, like they do with occults and stuff like this. So I just found this case to be interesting, and I just want to stay tuned, and I'll keep you updated what's going on. Right now, the way it is that they're not going to let her out. Okay, she's a flight risk. She knows too many people. They want to convict somebody, and unfortunately for her, it's her time to pay the piper. Okay, you've been living off this hog of the land for 20 plus years, and now it's time to pay. Right? I mean, she had been doing this since late 90s. Her and Epstein. And if you haven't watched the documentary about Epstein, they have one on Netflix. It's a really good documentary. It covers a little bit about her involvement as well. But it's basically focused on Epstein. So now it will be very interesting to find out what happens next. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this episode of In the News. I'm your host, Freddie Shaban. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'll just keep you informed. I know not a lot of people are interested in this stuff, but it doesn't get really reported anywhere else as far as any type of sex stuff and use. So I do that here. Okay. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.